Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be going over the all-new Honda Civic Hatchback Sport Touring. So this is the Civic Hatchback with the turbocharged engine. Anyways, before we get into the video, as always, if you want to save time, money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter four-cylinder that puts out 180 horsepower and then 177 pound-feet of torque. Now the cool thing about this powertrain is you can get it paired to a CVT or a manual. Now before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see that it's just like flat there on the center, and then you got distinctive lines on either side, and I love this white metallic paint. We've got these cool LED daytime running lights with the LED headlamps and fog lights as well. And then you guys can see you got some parking sensors in the front end with the Honda logo, and then notice the rest of the grille blacked out. And putting it all together, I think this thing looks pretty sweet with the front end. Coming around the side here, tire and wheel setup is 235/40/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see with the wheels, they're all blacked out, and I think that the spoke design looks pretty cool. We also have little splash guards there. Notice that the mirrors are body painted as well as the door handles, and then we do have some chrome trim there around the window. And putting it all together, I think it looks great, especially like that distinctive line at the bottom. That is pretty sweet. So here is our key fob. You guys can see we've got the unlock function, the lock function, remote start, and then we have the unlock for the hatch as well as the Honda logo there on the back. And speaking of hatch, this is one of the cool things about this car is it is a hatchback. So we've got quite a bit of storage space back here. This is pretty cool right here where you pull this across as the cargo cover. But yeah, plenty of cargo space here in the back. And then when you're all done, just plop. We've got the hatchback signature taillights here. Notice Sport Touring down below. And then you got the Honda badge and then the Civic badge as well as parking sensors here at the bottom. And then look at the covers here for the exhaust tips. I think those look pretty cool. And putting it all together, I love the look of the new Civic hatchback. It took a second for it to grow on me, but it's grown on me now. Now taking a look at the door panel, you guys can see we've got black trim right here, and then look at the padding and stitching down below. We've got our window control right there, and then look at the darker trim here, and then regular door handle. And then taking a look at these seats, you guys can see perforated all down the center. Actually, you can't see because the lighting. There you go, perforated down the center portion. Legroom here in the back is actually really good, and we have a storage pocket there for the passenger side, and we got some USBs down below. And then headroom back here is also great. And this even has a cup holder armrest. Now with the front door panel, you guys can see with the black trim there, and then look at the padding all down below. We've got all of our window controls right here with our mirror adjustments, and then you guys can see the mirrors right there. And then with the front seat, here's kind of a better look at the seat design, and then you guys can see how it's perforated at the bottom portion. We do have our power adjustments here at the bottom, and then look how nice the pedals are. And then we've got our stability control right here, parking sensors, that's for the safety tech, and then the steering wheel is manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, really nice soft touch material all around, and then you guys can see the darker stitching on the center portion. Paddle shifters here on the back for the CVT. This also has adaptive cruise control with your steering assist. We got your volume voice command controls on top of that. And then of course turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. Full digital gauge cluster here in the center, and notice we can scroll through a bunch of different menus, see different bits of info on systems within the car on the one side and also on the other side as well. And then we do have some drive modes to go through. So we have our Econ, we got a normal, and then we got our sport mode as well, and it gives you a cool little graphic for all of them. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera here with trajectory lines that turn up the steering wheel, and resolution is pretty good. As for the rest of the infotainment screen, you guys can see we've got a shortcut bar here on the side. Well, it's less of a bar and just a few buttons. We have an actual volume control. But yeah, overall response time of the screen is fantastic. I feel like the system's pretty easy to use overall. Yes, we have our honeycomb Honda mega vent that goes all the way down. And then down below that, we've got our climate controls, and just look at like the premium finish on them. Heated seats, dual zone climate system, if you guys are wondering. We got some USB action here, wireless phone charging pad, and then you guys can see the cup holders here. Shifter for that CVT. Drive mode select right behind it, your auto stop start, parking brake, and then your brake hold as well. And then you guys can see the center console with the padding, and then look at the storage space inside. Guess we got some business cards in here apparently. But anyways, there's your glove box. And then you guys can see we've got our sunglass holder and we've got the sunroof as well. Now, when it comes to pricing, something like this is going to sticker for about $32,000. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood. Both the mirrors should do blind spot monitoring. And then throw the rest of the rear. And, well, we got to set right off because we have a mega time crunch now. This car has to do some things. Anyways, setting off here in the Sport Touring. I'm really excited to drive this. Now, obviously, it would be mega cool if it was the manual. But, you know, finding the Sport Touring is hard enough. Let's get up on the road and get going and seeing how this turbocharged engine feels. Super torquey. I just drove the Civic, the other hatchback the other day with the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, so it'll be interesting to see how this performs differently compared to that. Really smooth, just like the other one. This thing I love about the new generation Civic is it's such a comfortable car when it comes to the ride quality. Yeah, super smooth. And the one benefit of the turbocharged engine, especially here at higher elevation, is that you're not going to get as much power loss as what you would get with the naturally aspirated engine. It seems like everyone's like stopped. I'm worried about going because I'm like, is one of the lights gonna go? Because this is like a wide right-hand turn, and so I don't want to go too soon. Okay, we're gonna go now. We're good. We've waited long enough. Okay, let's get our acceleration here. Woo! Yeah, that's so much quicker. Wow. So yeah, I know it's a short drive, but again, mega time crunch. I love how this looks because I like the hatchback. It drives really well. It's very comfortable. And this thing with the manual transmission, I think is the route to go because the Civic Type R is so hard to get. The SI, obviously, that has a manual, and that's going to be a little bit more exciting to drive. But at the same time, you know, the SI is not a hatchback. That's the big, like, appeal to this, is it's a hatchback. So let me know what you guys think about the Sport Touring, and let me know if you'd get this or if you would get the the 2.0 naturally aspirated. The sport mode. This is a 4-cylinder? What? That sounds so good for a 4-cylinder. Leave it up to Maserati to make a 4-cylinder sound this good. Paddles are super responsive. They feel really good too. Like the actuation on them feels fantastic. I feel like I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of driving, I've driven some Ferraris in the past, so I feel like I'm kind of driving a Ferrari a little bit. Yeah, this is impressive.